that we can only absorb what is available. So the reason why we have this low absorption is late disbursement of funds from the control of the budget. So the fault is not within the county executive or the county assembly. It is beyond our control. Again, another thing I realize, Honorable Speaker, is we are trying to push some of the departments to get higher allocations. We have witnessed one department which is not spending the money allocated to it, and that is the Department of Trade and Industrialization. Honorable Speaker, I will urge the Assembly, and I will plead with the Assembly, as we prepare the budget, we chop the budget for trade and industrialization because they are not spending. There is no need of denying a department which is using its money, it completes the allocated money, and they are still pending works that need to be done. We better give the money to the department that is ready to use. And for this matter, I recommend that Department of Roads be given the highest allocation.
Point of information taken.
Speaker, I happen that I sit in the Trades Committee, and as the minority leader said, that the absorption rate for the Trade Committee, you're going to understand that there was allocation of the 250 million, which was supposed for the aggregation of the committees, which really affected even the budget of the Trade Committee. And the reason you see our absorption rate in that, because we had also the same concern, it was because of the aggregation centers which have been put by the government.
Point of information, Honorable Speaker.
Point of information taken.
Allow me to inform the member who is on the floor that the review that we are making is for 2022-2023, and the county aggregated industrial parks program is for the current financial year.
Thank you. I believe you are well guided, Honorable Member. Thank you. Honorable Ndawa, proceed.
Yes, I want to conclude by saying that this time around we must be thorough. Any department which is trying to underperform, let that department not be given money. We give monies to departments which are ready to ensure that they do what is required. And again, Honorable Speaker, from the observation, the committee is recommending that then those who are doing the procurement should be doing the procurement in good time to ensure that we don't close over to another financial year before we do what is supposed to be done in the running financial year. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I support the report.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Perhaps, Honorable Mike, I would, now that you have informed us that you're actually a member of that committee for trade, are you? And we are worried why there's the absorption rate of at the Department of Trade and Industrialization is low. Perhaps it is important that that committee brings a report to this House why that is happening. Yeah, because everybody is worried why this particular department alone is the one that is not seeing to be using its money. Why should we give it money? The committee is here, it is oversighting that department, should be able to tell us where the problem is. More contribution. Honorable Deti, you have contributed. You cannot contribute again. Honorable Felix Ngui, then Honorable Johanna, then Honorable Maeke, in that order.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My name is Felix Ngoi, the MCA for Katangi Ward. Madam Speaker, as I congratulate the Chair for Budget for the report that he has just tabled, my concern has just been drawn to three things. And one, the report is talking about wage bill. And I believe that we are guided by the law on the percentage that the county is supposed to use on matters wage bill, on its budget, and also on the development budget. My concern is that the recommendation is that the county should look on the wage bill, on how to reduce the wage bill. But I think this calls for the Committee on Public Service of this county assembly maybe to move with speed and bring a report to this county assembly telling us the measures that the County Public Service Board is taking to make sure that we reduce the wage bill within our county. That is number one, because the wage bill has been a thorn issue for this county for the longest time. And we must come to an end of this matter by the committee doing its work and the department that is concerned doing the necessary measures to make sure that we reduce the wage bill. Secondly, there's an issue of penalty bills. The issue of penalty bills has been also a thorn issue, and our sons and daughters of Machakos owes this county a lot of money, and I know that there was a task force that was formed by the governor to look on the matters of the penalty bills. I also want to recommend that the relevant committee should also take up the matter and also give a report to this county assembly on how far the county has dealt with the penalty bills, because our people are still suffering. They worked for this county and they have not been paid up to date. That is a very important issue that needs to be looked into. The third one, and that one has been discussed by Mheshimiwa Andawa and Mheshimiwa Helen, is the absorption rate. It is so worrying that we are talking about a low absorption rate on the development budget when our people of Machakos County do not have enough water, clean water to drink, when our people do not have proper roads, when our ECD children in some schools are still learning under trees, and we are talking about low absorption. I think I want to put a challenge to the committee chairs of this county assembly, because the law stipulates very clearly that all departments are supposed to be tabling quarterly reports to the committees. I don't think that has been happening. Every department of the county executive should be tabling quarterly reports to the committees so that we can be able to monitor how they are absorbing the development budget. And by so doing, we will be putting checks so that when a department is showing a low absorption, we can come in as a committee and, you know, work with them and see how they can absorb money for our people to get services. We must realize that governments are service ministries. We give service to the people. I think there are some people in the offices who think that our ministries are there to make profits. Our ministries are there to spend money on our people to get development. So this is a challenge I want to put to the chairs. Please make sure that we are getting these reports from departments so that we can put these people on checks. Otherwise, I want to support the report and also support the recommendations that has been put by the Committee on Budget. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Ngui. Honorable Johanna, then Honorable Micah, then Honorable Kaviu. In that order.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I stand to support the report on Budget and Appropriation Committee, County Budget Review and Outlook Paper 2023. Madam Speaker, the paper has outlined very key financial issues and operations in the county. Madam Speaker, members have pointed out very important omissions which have been highlighted or indicated on this report, which I may not repeat, but Madam Speaker, as we appreciate this report, I would like also to point out that as much as we appreciate that we have an upward trajectory on source revenue collection, we should have been given also a trend as given on page 5 on onward on source revenue collection, which shows from 2018 to 2021 we were going downward, then 2021 to 2023 it is going upwards, yet in terms of spending the collections we are registering a drop. Madam Speaker, I have noted an inconsistency in the report because when you look at page 2, it is indicated that the absorption rate for development is 49%. The absorption of development funds stood at 49%. But when you go to page 10, we are told the absorption rate is 65%. Madam Speaker, it is very important that we dig deeper on into our records so that we are true to ourselves, because that is the only way we will be able to advise the head of the executive.
Point of information, Madam Speaker.
Point of information taken.
Yeah, thank you. Madam Speaker, according to what the member is asking, the answer is the 49% is based on the entire budget. That is including the Assembly's budget. And now the one you are referring to, the one with the 65%, is for the executive departments only. So that's why the variance.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Johanna, are you guided?
Yes, although that has not been indicated, I was just following on what the reporter said.
Yes.
But if those are other nitty-gritties, then I stand informed. Madam Speaker, we have seen that on all the tables given here, and which is also the correct format of giving reports, the source is Machakos County financial statements, which is very correct. Madam Speaker, going by those documents which are internal, we appear to be very safe because we are at 65% absorption rate. But we have also seen elsewhere, especially from external documents like the county government's budget implementation review reports, where the county is indicated as having absorption rates of as low as even less than 20. Remember, those are external documents which are being read all over the country. So we must ask ourselves why the inconsistencies of such reports, and as indicated by one of us, we have a duty to interrogate the quarterly reports from the executive. Madam Speaker, we had a meeting as a department, as a committee of energy, where the officers accepted that, and the records were very clear, that for the third quarter, up to the third quarter, the absorption rate for that department is 0% development. That is in record,
Yes.
and therefore that is why we are saying
Point of information,
must-
Madam Speaker.
And I remember that 0%, we actually discussed it.
Thank you, Madam
It
Speaker.
exists.
Madam Speaker, I think it is important that we understand the document we are interrogating. The member is so much on 2023-2024 budget, yet the document or the report we are dealing with was for 2022-2023. And that's where maybe he thinks there is that difference. This is for full year 2022-2023, and I am very sure the COB's report for the same time reads the same. He can get the COB's report, it indicates the same. So the issue is raising, and the documents circulating are for the first quarters of 2023, 2024, second quarters and third quarters. So for the CIPROS, the review we are doing today is for 2022, 2023, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, but allow the member to just hear his concerns.
yes, we are
Yeah.
quoting currently what is happening
Let
because
him
we are
hear his
insisting we
concerns.
must be able to,
Because that is the purpose of debating this thing.
yes, we must be able to interrogate the various departments so that we are safe as a county. And Madam Speaker, we have totally agreed that one of the reasons which the committee presented to us here of the low absorption rate was that we absorb what is available. I don't know whether I'll be wrong to say that the Department of Trade absorbed what was available. So we must go dig deeper so that we can understand, so that we don't just get or make general statements. If there are specific reasons for trade, we get to that. If there are general statements which where we are absorbing what is available, we get to understand whether the departments are really absorbing what is available, or what is the procedure. Do we requisition for funds for work not done, or do we commit the works and requisition for funds to pay for the works?
Yes.
So, Madam Speaker, as a House, we must stand so that we can assist even the head of the executive to run the county by engaging the departments in a sober way so that we can make them work and we register higher absorption rates. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Joanna. And I had actually just pointed out that it is the work of the committees concerned to oversight and get the information from the departments that are directly related. So when we come here and spend a whole day discussing low rates, low absorption rate, what, and we know there is a particular committee that has a duty to give us this report, I mean, we are just it's back and forth. We'll never get out of these circles. Do your duties, the county assembly committees. Please, I urge you, as your speaker, that please do your work. Let's just go back and forth, because you have a mandate to oversight those departments, isn't it? Given by the Constitution of Kenya, the supreme law of this land. Why don't you do your work? I think it's clear and
Yes.
straight to the point. Honorable Mike, then Honorable Kavio.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My name is Boniface Mike from Kalama Ward, and I want to take this opportunity to, one, congratulate the Committee on Budget for giving us a very well elaborative and informative report concerning the usage of the resources we are having as a county. Madam Speaker, I have some 3 points, but I'll not repeat myself because previous honorable members have spoken about them. My first area of concern was the recurrent versus the development. And Madam Speaker, our honorable member from Katangi has put it clearly that there is really need for us to look into the issue of the recurrent budgets and versus the development. Because, Madam Speaker, as we have seen, we are really, even the budget allocation is like, it's very low compared to whatever is supposed to be done there. And that can be looked into by ensuring that we don't have duplication of roles, Madam Speaker. Because, for example, you may go to the revenue collection. You're going to find in a small area, there are a lot of people who are manning like, so that like it's a stage, and you find the number of people who are collecting the revenue are more, even probably in some areas are more than even the vehicles which they are locating. That may not be realistic, but it needs to be looked into so that by the end of the day, we look into. I was also looking into some of the other recurrent bills we're having as a county, for example, electricity. And you find we need to really look into, for example, the electric bills. You're going to find, as a member of county assembly, I may want my remotest village to be lit by a Mulikamwizi. And the Mulikamwizi is coming to the same department, and it is acquiring a lot of expenses at the expense of development. Point number 2, Madam Speaker, the issue that has been alluded, number 4, is about procurement. And the procurement issue, as the committee has put, is a sieve. It's a real problem. Because even when we are doing the interrogation of the current year, the issue of procurement is coming up very, very, very clearly. And it's a high time we really, probably the concerned committee, Madam Speaker, through your direction, looks into how our process of procurement is done. Because if it is just a normal procurement process, it should not be a long process. It should be as simple as possible for the purposes of us doing the work timely. Lastly, Madam Speaker, my other concern is when you look at our estimations, we estimate our own source revenue at 3.9 million, but we get 1 million. What does that mean? It means that you have a big budget, but now it cannot be realized. How I pray that we don't project much. It's better we have a low projection on our own source revenue, like to a point of, because it's 50%. 2023 came shy of 50%. Right now we are projecting it for maybe 4 million. And probably we get, I'm saying, I'm on the floor and I'm saying, we are projecting at probably another projection of 3 million, and then we get 1.5 million. What does that mean, Madam Speaker? It means a project that was supposed to be done, or when you are doing the budget, probably you may think you're having a lot of money, and eventually we don't realize that project to be done. So we should also look into our projection, so that we don't project so much, and it budgets our resource envelope. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Kavyo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I support the report, and also maybe before I give my 2 points to Honorable Member Boniface Maeke, the implication of the projection that we are making as a county for the on-source revenue, I want you also to note that it has implication on the equitable share that we normally get from the national government. So if your revenue projection are low, there is a likelihood that that is also going to affect. So, and also what we are setting as a county, it's not unrealistic. In fact, it's way below what was projected by World Bank. In their report, it indicated that Machakos County has a potential to collect an annual collection of over 4 billion a year. So the 1.2 we are still talking about today is way below. So what we need to, the discussion that we need to have, Madam Speaker, is how are we going to enforce the revenue collection to ensure that we surpass the revenue targets that we are making. And Madam Speaker, on some of the recommendations that have been given by the committee on point number 3, one of the measures that they are recommending is automation of all revenue channels. And Madam Speaker, I remember these are recommendations that we gave in the last financial year, and we budgeted for automation. So I think we also need to get a report to what extent that has been achieved, because most of the key thing why we are not being able to achieve our target is cash leakages. And I will not mention one of the company, but I'll give a scenario. In my ward, there is an organization where the county loses close to 15 million a month of revenue collection because during the last regime, a waiver was given for a period of 10 years. And what happens is that even individuals who have trucks operating within Lukenya quarries, they have also devised a method of evading tax collection. For instance, if today I have a truck that operates within Lukenya quarries, I just need to get a sticker for that particular company and stick it on my vehicle. The revenue officers will not bother to check whether indeed what I'm carrying will end at that particular company that has been exempted. So you find out of 500 or more trucks that normally ply that route from the quarries, only the small trucks that are transporting building materials like blocks, sands, those are the only people who stop to pay revenue. So you find an area that has a potential of almost collecting close to 500,000 in a day, we only collect less than 100,000 a day. And it's an evidence, something that we have gone there and we have found as a committee. So one of the things that we need to do, I think we need to do a review of all exemptions that were granted or any waivers that were given, because we need money to operate as a county. And the agenda that the government has can only be achieved if we have funds available. And the monies are there. We only need better enforcement strategies so that we can ensure. Because one of the reasons for the waiver that was given was that this particular company will ensure that it is doing more CSR within the community and also employ our people, none of which is happening. Even our people getting employment in those farms is a nightmare. They import people all the way from Western, from Nairobi. And to make the matter worse, the people, once they are imported from there, they even don't stay within Machakos County. In the evening, they go all the way back to Nairobi. So those are the things that we need to check in terms of CSR. They get the material from Machakos County, and they are doing more CSR in Kajiado, where they only sell their products, and other counties more than in Machakos. So we need to re-examine and review the terms of those waivers, because if we have our money, if they pay what we are supposed to collect from them, we'll build our own classes, we'll equip our hospitals with the medical requirements that are needed, and we'll also get water for our people. Our people in Lukenya who live there, my residents, they are more disadvantaged because those trucks use the same roads that these members of the community are supposed to use, which ideally, if were not for the trucks,
those people will be enjoying, but they end up going at a loss because those trucks destroy the roads. There is no meaningful economic contribution that they are making because of the waivers. So we need to look at it and ensure. The other thing on automation, I'll give an example of Machakos town. If you go to Nairobi, most of the public parking spaces, you don't pay cash to anybody. There is normally a pain point. Once you pay, you capture your detail, your vehicle registration numbers. When you are exiting, the payment will be recorded. So I think it's high time we also have it within Machakos town, where there are public parking spaces, because reports have also shown, we went around and you found out of 10 vehicles, only one person pays. The other ones, it's a local arrangement between the people collecting. Others have also devised mechanism. The same trick that is being used at Lukenya. Out here, Madam Speaker, we have a lot of county assembly stickers on private vehicles. People who don't work here, they don't have any connection with this assembly, and they use that as a way to escape payment of revenue. And I think members of the finance committee can confirm that. We went out, and out of the 50 vehicles that we sampled, 9 of them had county assembly stickers, and others have other stickers that exempt them from paying. So these are things that we need to arrest, and once we implement that, I want to assure Honorable Maeke, the 1.8 billion that we are projecting to collect, it will just be a tip, because Machakos has the potential. We just need to be serious in terms of enforcement, in ensuring that even our shops, we just need to get the exact number of shop operators. Let's automate. Let them get automatic prompt, and the revenue officers will be in a position to generate a report of who has not paid, because what we have in currently, we have so many revenue collection officers, and what they are doing is business. Yeah. You find in the morning, 3 people are coming, let's say majority is running a shop in Chumfi. In the morning, you'll get 2 revenue officers come in to check the same. Around 10, other 2. So we have so many workforce, but we are not realizing the dream. So we need to utilize them in a proper manner and see how we can cut that channel of our officers having to collect. We know the pay bill number is there, but we are still having our challenges. There are areas where people collect the revenue, then in the evening, they assure the shop owners, because I'm the same person who is going to come tomorrow, you don't need to pay it via the pay bill. I will go and deposit for you so that you don't incur the transaction charges, which is a bait that our people are buying. But most of the time, 70% of those finances never get to our coffers. So it's something that we need to look at. And also on the absorption rate for the Department of Trade, we have a committee on trade. So if you find that department is sleeping, it is also sending a message on the composition of the committee that is supposed to oversight them. So if the committee is not able to do, then Majority Leader, the committee on selection needs to sit down, we review. Oh, yes, Madam Speaker,
yes.
We need to sit down and review.
Yes.
And review if we have the right composition. Yes. Because if all other departments are doing their work properly, their departments are doing fairly well in terms of absorption rate, then either the committee resigns or they bring us a report and tell us what measures have they taken. Because by the time we close the year with a low absorption rate, the committee must have seen that before we got there. So we need to review, and if the committee is not able to deliver, I think we need to reshuffle and take me there. We'll see some. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member. The issue of automation, yesterday we had a motion tabled before this House by Honorable Ndwiki, and it was just the same issue of leakages and human interactions, making sure that whatever is meant for the government comes to your pocket. You know, the countries that have been able to really develop very quickly have embraced technology. Places like Singapore, places like Dubai. There's never anybody to write for you a receipt. You pay using automation, you get a receipt using the same automation. There is never interaction, because that is how corruption is enhanced when we have all these receipts flying around. So members, it is our duty as an assembly to make sure that we implement these decisions we make here. If automation is something we discussed last year of revenue collection, we should now be able to be informed, given information that has it happened and why hasn't it not happened? What are the challenges, if any, that is. So members, I think we are not doing our work right. Honorable Mulinge, Honorable Majority, and then Honorable Irene. Is it technology challenge? Honorable Mulinge. Want to appear? Oh, oh, I see. They are not working. All right.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. In terms of technology, I'm among the masters on that field. Sure. Madam Speaker, I would like to thank the committee for budget. Their work is very good. And at the same time, the report they have given us is supposed to be a wake call to the Committee of Trend. Madam Speaker, I will say the Department of Finance and the Revenue Collection, they have done excellent work. Understanding that our country has been operating on tough times. Cost of living very high. But under those harsh circumstances, they have improved, they have increased the revenue collection. Madam Speaker, one department is dependent on another department. And we know, and the report has shown, the Department of Trend, the absorption rate is very poor. And in chemistry we say, absorption is a process of taking something to substance. If the Department of Trend, being the engine of business, because when we talk about trend, we talk about money, we talk about business, we talk about empowering kina mamas, empowering businesses. For the revenue to increase, Madam Speaker, the business, people who are doing business, they must have a very conducive environment to do business. For instance, like we have a market in Kaseve. That market, their washrooms, toilets have not been in operation for almost for around 6 months. The same case with the Makutano Junction. This means with that low absorption, the department is killing the other department. The department is killing the Department of Revenue because they are not investing to have more resources.
Point of information taken. Honorable, have you?
Speaker, I think the member is out of order because the toilet that is referring to in my ward, it's functionable. Even if you pass by today, it is working. So it should stick to issues touching Movote Kemakimo ward. Thank you.
Honorable Mulinge.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Touching on Kemakimo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. But I remember there is a time we were talking about the latrine in Makutano, but I thank you, the department concerned, because the work already has been done. So, Madam Speaker, I was saying, with the low absorption, and having been described, absorption is taking money to substance. For instance, like Department of Roads. In my ward, people are celebrating because they can see what the county government, what the governor is doing, because he's using money to make projects. But on the Department of Trade, a very important department in the county, which is supposed to create markets for our people to do business in good and conducive environment, which is supposed to build sheds for motorbikes, which is supposed to build latrines, and the county being on a cosmopolitan area, they cannot absorb money when their users are automatically, when they are users of the money, they are something that somebody can see. Number two, Madam Speaker, the motto of our governor is Chakula Mesani, Pesa Mfukoni. And the imbita, the carrier of the vision, is supposed to be the Department of Trade. Also, Madam Speaker, looking on the percentages, because I'm still in description of absorption, taking something to substance. We have said the Department of Roads, what they have done in my ward, our electorate, is something they can see. Madam Speaker, we have other departments with good percentages, but in our wards, they are not visible. I will hand this house, because our major role is oversight, to make sure what the department is observing is something which is valuable and which is aligning to the manifesto of our governor. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Majority.
Thank you. I'll be very brief, Madam Speaker, because honorable members have ventilated on this matter very well and very exhaustively. But I just want to inform that he has worked out. For the records, all budgets are projections. So we should not worry so much, because the people who did the projection, they based their projection on a revenue mapping that was done, and that money was spent to do that, the revenue mapping. So the projection is quite in order. Number two, I want to say that failing to prepare is preparing to fail. And the issue that I'm keen on is procurement. The underlying factor or the issues around procurement is procuring late. So I'm urging the people concerned, the Ministry of Finance or Department of Finance, to start preparing early on matters procurement, so that when the time for execution of works come, they can be able to execute early enough. And I think we will put some department into task as to why 6 months down the line they are not able to procure. Yet we passed a budget in this house and we have never asked them not to procure. In fact and indeed, we encourage them to procure. On the issue of quarterly report, Madam Speaker, I hope, how I pray that all honorable members can remember that we are not working for our own selves. We are working for the people who send us in this house. And improve, and I want to be put in record, and improve on attendance of committees and on attendance of the plenary. Because if we don't work at the committee level, we'll subsequently kill the plenary. So that we stop saying they did not submit the quarterly report. We have so many reports in this house, but the committees have not done their work to bring their recommendation or their findings here the way the budget committee have done. So let us go back to our committees and let us work on the committee reports that are already there before we ask for more committees. The last one, I've been drawn to recommendation number 5. I'm a member of this committee, that the county government puts in place measures to sensitize farmers on agricultural produce, storage, and prevention of post-harvest losses. And that is tied to the so many people who are willing to help in the agricultural sector, from fertilizer subsidies. We have agricultural sector development smart program. We have climate smart agricultural project. We have FLOCA. We have agricultural value development project. How I wish we can not let these funds that people out there have seen well that they give at this fund to return to these people without utilizing this fund. So even as we train and sensitize our farmers, would urge the department concerned with the agriculture that they make good use of this donor funding and these conditional grants to help our people, and especially on what we recommended, storage and prevention of post-harvest losses. You must have noticed, like I've noticed, those of us who farm, we now have started seeing lorries and pickups outside major roads in Ukambani buying produce even before it dries up at a very minimum cost. And then they are going to pay to bring back the same grains at our people at a very exorbitant prices. So this is a very important thing, because as Mheshimiwa Mulinge says, it's about chakula mezani and pesa mfukoni, so that people don't start receiving molio just 3 or 4 months after harvesting. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. I now wish to call upon Honorable Ndambuki to come and reply.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I wish to thank the House for their contributions into the report and in the manner in which they have shared their sentiments about the report. And it's my plea that the county executive adheres to the recommendations that this House is shortly going to adopt. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member. I now put the question that this House discusses and approves the report of the Budget and Appropriation Committee on the Machakos County Budget Review and Outlook Paper 2023. As many are of the opinion, say ayes. As many are of the contrary opinion, say nay. The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 9, motion, approval of report on the intergovernmental agreement on the establishment of county aggregation and industrial parks.
May I invite Honorable Dominic Ndambuki, Chairperson, Budget and Appropriation Committee, to come over and take us through that motion.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My name is Honorable Dominic Ndambuki, Chairperson, Budget and Appropriations Committee. Honorable Speaker, that aware that the national government, through the Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry, State Department for Industry and county governments in partnership with private sector development partners and United Nations Industrial Development Organization, has established county aggregation and industrial parks in each county, which will be developed and implemented jointly between the national government and county governments. Noting that Article 6, Subarticle 2 of the Constitution of Kenya provides that the governments at the national and county levels are distinct and interdependent and shall conduct their mutual relations on the basis of consultation and cooperation. Further, aware that Section 191, subsection A3 of the Public Finance Management Act of PFM of 2012 provides that where a county government intends to enter into an agreement for conditional allocations, the county executive committee member in charge of finance shall submit the agreement to the county assembly for approval, and aware that pursuant to section 191 subsection A4 of PFMA of 2012, the assembly shall within 14 days of submission of an agreement approve or reject the agreement. Acknowledging that the county assembly is in receipt of a legal notice on intergovernmental agreement on establishment of county aggregation and industrial parks between the national government through the Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry, State Department of Industry and the county government of Machakos. Honorable Speaker, I wish to move the motion that this House discusses and approves the report of the Budget and Appropriations Committee on the intergovernmental agreement on the establishment of the county aggregation and industrial parks. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I call upon Honorable Ndawa to second.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Ndawa.
Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker. I do second, and as I second, I would request my colleagues to agree with that motion, because it talks of intergovernmental intervention, the county government and national government to come together, to bring resources together to address that issue of industrial park. Honorable Speaker, I'm aware that the monies will be conditional on grant, and anything which is conditional, there are no alterations. So we just approve as the chair request so that we can move forward. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Ndawa. I now invite members to debate this motion. Sorry. You wish? Sorry. I had omitted something. I now propose the question that this House discusses and approves the report of the Budget and Appropriation Committee on the Intergovernmental Agreement on the establishment of the County Aggregation and Industrial Park. Before I invite members to debate, then I would like to ask the mover to come forward and give us the highlights of the report.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. As Honorable Ndawa has put it clearly, Honorable Speaker, this is a guideline on how the county government is going to enter into an agreement with the national government on matters conditional grants. Honorable Speaker, and if you allow me, Honorable Speaker, I'll give the main objective of the CAIP and then go straight to the committee's observations and recommendations, Honorable Speaker.
Proceed.
Honorable Speaker, the main objective of the county aggregated industrial parks is to grow manufacturing and agri-industrial investments and enhance competitiveness of agriculture sector in a sustainable manner, hence creating inclusive, decent jobs, promote productivity at the farm level, increase farmers' income, increase export, increase foreign exchange, grow the economy and provide platform for stakeholders' engagement in promoting industrialization in the country. The county aggregation and industrial parks will house an aggregation center that will have the section for collection, sorting, grading, cleaning, packaging, and cold storage facilities. The industrial park section will have the value addition, processing equipment, and common user facilities. The county aggregation and industrial parks will be linked to online warehouses management system to promote market access. And in funding the county agricultural industrial parks, county aggregation and industrial parks, in the fiscal year 2023-2024, the national government through the State Department for Industry has allocated 4.7 billion Kenya shillings towards the establishment of the county aggregated industrial parks. The benefiting counties will receive 250 million from the national government, and the respective county governments will allocate a matching fund of 250 million Kenya shillings. The county government of Machakos has already factored the 250 million Kenya shillings in the current financial year's budget. Committee's recommendations, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the committee recommends that 1, the county complies with the financing conditions and deposits 250 million Kenya shillings to the special purpose account for the construction of the county aggregation and industrial parks. 2, the county government ensures the industrial park has a minimum of 10 hectares in an appropriate location with basic infrastructure facilities and development master plan for the land. 3, the county government develops governance and management structure of the county aggregation and industrial park. 4, the national and the county governments ensure timely release of funds and facilitate timely disbursement of the grant to the contractors and other service providers. 5, the county government monitors and evaluates performance of the conditional grants allocation. 6, the county government puts in place measures to ensure sustainability of the county aggregated industrial parks after withdrawal of the donor grants. 7, the county government ensures that the grant funds are included in the budget estimates for the particular financial years. 8, the county government ensures that all activities funded by the grant are captured in the county annual work plan and the procurement plan. 9, the national government in the current financial year of 2023-2024 has allocated 100 million for the grant to Machakos County and needs to enhance the amount 250 million Kenya shillings as per the intergovernmental agreement. After receipt of the 150 million Kenya shillings deficit, the CCM Finance should submit a revised budget to the Assembly for approval. 10, the county executive adheres to all the conditions set for the establishment of the county aggregation and industrial parks to ensure that the county gets full access to the grant. 11, the accounting officers responsible, chief officers, trade and finance, safeguard the grant funds and ensure that the value for money is realized. 11, the accounting officers responsible, chief officers of trade and finance, safeguard the grant funds and ensure that the value for the money is realized. 12, the county government should fast track the construction of the industrial park, since these will attract investment and in return create business and employment. 13, the county government to conduct public participation for all the intergovernmental agreements pursuant to section 191B of the PFMA of 2012, which states that the county executive committee member shall facilitate public participation on any agreement made pursuant to section 191A. 14, the CCM Finance to submit to the county assembly all the other conditional grants agreements for approval in accordance to section 191A3 of the PFMA 2012, which states that where a county government intends to enter into an agreement under subsection 1, the county executive committee member shall submit the agreement to the respective county assembly for approval. Honorable Speaker, the committee wishes to thank the office of the Speaker and that of the clerk of the county assembly for the support extended to the committee in fulfilling its mandate. I wish to acknowledge the honorable members of the committee for their sacrifice and commitment in preparation of this report. It is therefore my pleasure, on behalf of the Committee on Budget and Appropriations, to recommend that the House approves the intergovernmental agreement on establishment of the county aggregations and industrial parks between the national government through the Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry and the county government of Machakos. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much. May I now invite members to debate this motion? Honorable Ndeti.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I stand to congratulate again the Committee on Budget for this report they have brought us. Without, as my colleague Mheshimiwa Ndawa said, this is a self-explanatory report. I think Machakos County, when you listen to the terms of reference, the county has got what it takes. I think it's a very good project that we should collaborate with the national government, because it's going to bring investment to our county, create employment, bring us more resources in terms of our revenue collection in our own source revenue. So it is a very wonderful idea that as an assembly, I request that we pass it without much ado. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Mulinga.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I will start by supporting the report. Industrial parks in the world, they are ambitants of development, ambitants of revenue, and in Machakos, I will say will be a big blessing to Machakos County, because as alignment of the theme, the motto of the county, creation of employment, creation of availability of resources, empowering farmers. And Madam Speaker, we know that one role of the industrial parks, they'll make availability of goods and services, and also goods that we were to travel all the way to Nairobi. Industries will come together, and people of Machakos will be in a position to get their goods in doorsteps. Also, Madam Speaker, aggregation parks, these are business premises. The people will start paying taxes, started paying revenues, licensing, and this means that it is going to increase our level of revenue. So, Madam Speaker, I support it.
Thank you, Honorable Member. I now call upon the Budget Committee Chair to come forward and reply.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. It's my belief that the House is going to approve the committee's recommendations, which will pave way for funds to be released to the county government of Machakos, so that the construction of the industrial parks can continue. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. I now put the question that this House discusses and approves the report of the Budget and Appropriation Committee on their intergovernmental agreement on the establishment of county aggregation and industrial parks. As many are of the opinion, say ayes. As many are of the contrary opinion, say nay. The ayes have it. we are through with this session. The House now adjourns to Wednesday, 21st February 2024 at 2:30 p.m. I hope to see you members again at 2:30. And please, when we say we meet here at 2:30, let's meet all of us. Yeah, we have had issues of quorum in the last few days, but I urge you to come forward and just do your work. Thank you, members. Zero.